Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं आशीष नारंग और आप सबका स्वागत है द ग्रोइंग प्रोफेशनल शो में। दोस्तों, अपने आप को जानना सबसे बड़ी बुद्धिमानी है और अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पे वर्क करके उसको अपनी पावर बनाना सबसे ज़्यादा बुद्धिमानी का काम है और सबसे बड़ी शक्ति है आपके अंदर। तो दोस्तों, सेल्फ मास्टरी कोच श्रीवेनी वी मैम को हमने आज इनवाइट किया है अपने शो द ग्रोइंग प्रोफेशनल शो में। श्रीवेनी मैम सेल्फ मास्टरी कोच है जो आपको आपका इनर पोटेंशियल यानी कि आपकी अंदर की ताकत को पहचानने में आपकी मदद करती हैं और अपना पर्सनल ब्रांड इस्टेब्लिश करके आपको आपके करियर में कैसे ग्रो करना है, अपने बिजनेस को कैसे ग्रो करना है और अपनी रेप्यूटेशन कैसे बिल्ड करनी है, इसमें हेल्प करते हैं। तो स्वागत करते हैं श्रीवेनी मैम का इस शो में। वेलकम श्रीवेनी मैम ऑन द शो। Welcome to the show, Sreeveni ma'am, and our audience are glad to have you on the show. So, as I introduced to the audience, you are a coach on self mastery and personal branding. So, it will be very insightful episode of the podcast to know about the self worth and personal branding. What is it, and what are the advantages? So, shall we start with the questions, ma'am? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. Yes.
Yeah. So it is.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, it is said that knowing self-worth. What do you mean by self-worth, and how it is beneficial for anybody, maybe students, maybe working professionals, and maybe budding entrepreneurs?
Yeah. So this self-worth, the reason I have been in this arena is I discovered my self-worth. This is a practical which has come out within me, and that's what I just want to help people with. So in fact, I have started my career as a physics lecturer, and for over a period of 10-12 years I was there, and then later on I switched to training part. But after a sabbatical, when I took a sabbatical for my kids when they were into their 10th class, when they needed my time, that's when I was there for a sabbatical for around 3 to 4 years, and I introspected a lot within me. I understood that I was doing all these duties, I was executing all the duties perfectly well depending on the circumstances, but I did not know my worth. So that's when I discovered what am I worth for. Okay. And what is the inherent qualities which I have, which I can share with the world and help people around. So after I discovering my self-worth, I have taken up this, and another course which I have done is image consultancy, where I discovered that there is something called first impression, which we make with our presence. So I integrated my life experiences with the certification courses and came up with this self-worth as your first impression. Right. And it's definitely going to help the community, which you mentioned, students, entrepreneurs, anybody. In fact, this is for everybody, but we have segmented audience as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so very insightful answer, ma'am. Moving to the next question, you have emphasized much on the inner self. It is also said that your inner world is the outer world. Whatever you think inside your mind, whatever are your belief system, your world will look like the same. Right. So, what is your advice to the millennials and youngsters? How they can tap into their inner potential and reach to their higher purpose of the life? Yeah. So with respect to millennials, I do have my kids are millennials, in fact. So I understand we can't just call it a generation gap, but we understand as the trend is changing, as the world is changing, the millennials get adapted to it very fast. So, and we are catching up and we are also learning. So right now we are trying to be on par with their thinking and their kind of living style, lifestyles. So this self-worth, whichever is there, which is inherent to your inner strengths, which can be projected on the external. So with respect to the millennials, what happens is they very easily get sidetracked, or they start to get carried away with whatever is happening in the society. Mainly I observe this. So before they getting carried away, they should know what they stand for. What is their self-image and what are their true strengths or their inner potential. Once they know that, whatever they see, because now there is loads of information everywhere. So the millennials, once they know what what their inner potential is, then they can actually project it depending on what they like, what they don't like, what they want to do, what they don't want to do.
Actually,
That's how it can help them.
yes, you really you said very rightly, ma'am. What happens? This is a time of social media, and we youngsters are very much influenced by whatever we are seeing. If we see somebody doing something, maybe good or bad, sometimes people are not able to take decision whether it is right or not. They just get influenced and start following others. So yeah, very rightly said, ma'am. And you also said about in your introduction and on your different platforms, you have mentioned that you help people make the best first impression. Definitely, it is
Yeah.
very popular notion that first impression is the last and is last forever. So, what is your advice to
Correct.
everybody how they can create this best first impression?
Yeah. So, Ashish, to share with you, when I was doing my course, I came to understand that the first impression is made within the first 7 seconds.
Mhm.
Within the first 7 seconds, can you imagine?
Right.
So,
I read somewhere.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, and you need to capture that 7 seconds, and that cannot happen just overnight. It needs to be a practice. There is a lot of structure, there is a lot of strategy behind it. And there is another rule called 7 by 11 rule. What does that mean? In 7 seconds, they make 11 decisions about you.
Oh.
11 decisions about you. So it's like about our caveman brain, which is the amygdala which operates. So in earlier days when the caveman also was operating, so as soon as he sees some strange thing, fight, flight or freeze, these are the three things, right? So fight, flight or freeze, even now our brain amygdala acts in that same format. So whenever there is a stranger, that 7 seconds and 11 decisions which make is flight, fright or freeze. So should we not with this stranger? All those decisions are made. So when you are aware of this science behind the first impressions, then you can actually become you can actually portray yourself such that you can become amicable to that person. You can become approachable to that person. And this is how I train people to make their best first impression, and that remains as the lasting impression. It eases your process, it smoothens your process.
Wow, very
Yeah.
interesting, ma'am. Very interesting. It's very amazing to know within a 7 second, a person makes 11 decisions subconsciously without talking to
Yes.
somebody, without having any kind of conversation, just looking at the person. Amazing. And that definitely very, very interesting. And people, our audience will.
That is a science actually. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So you have also talked about the personal branding. What we know is
Yeah.
brand. Generally, the people consider that brand is of a product of a company or a service being provided by a company. But these days, personal branding is in trend terminology. People are talking
Right.
about personal branding. So what is it, and how it is helpful for students to get a job, for small business owners and trainers and influencers to get more clients and more revenue? So what is your advice about it?
Yeah, so this personal brand, which is more in now. In fact, earlier days, branding was only for the companies, for kind of entities, right? So then later on, it was discovered that entities also, if you treat as an individual, they have a character. They stand by some principles. So that is what is related to right now. What is personal branding? Personal brand is nothing new. It is just a concept. To talk in a layman's language, I feel personal brand is as good as your name. Right? You have a name. Similarly, you have a brand. It is your personal brand. What you're projecting others, what you're projecting to others to know about you. It's as unique as your thumb. This is unique, right? We all know our thumbprint is very unique to everybody. So similarly, personal brand is also very unique. It is very unique to each person. And what does it stand for? It stands for what you believe in. So what you believe in, what you're projecting, your values, your authenticity, and your principles. So these are the three things which come into consideration when you're branding yourself. Some person would be good at punctuality, some person would be good at small details, some person would be good at speaking skills. So all these are their branding elements. So It is upon us how you brand. Once you know your inner strengths, that is how you brand yourself. So
Right.
here, authenticity is the main factor, Ashish, what I feel is,
Great.
which will help all the segments.
So as whenever we think about Parleji, we have a little girl in our mind. Whenever we think about Gandhiji, we have an old man in our image, like old man with dhoti
Yes.
and a stick
Yeah.
in his hand. So whenever a person wants to make his personal brand, they have to have some characteristics in terms of outfits, in terms of looks and in terms of their thought process and their ideologies. Very interesting, now. Really nice. And how this can help a business owner to stand out, or an influencer to stand out and earn more. As companies put much investments to build the brand, to make their brand stand out. So if the same can be applied to students, if they want to stand out and get a job, or same way to the trainers, influencers, and coaches, so they can stand out, and how this can help small businesses to have their personal brands.
So I will first answer this question and then I will come back as to how to get it. So based on your question right now, how does this personal branding help? Yes, it helps you to reach out to the varied segments in the society. It gives you a lot of visibility and it helps you in collaborating. It gets you into that like-minded segments of people, because everyone is not your customer. All the people are not your people who need your product or service. There are certain kinds of people. For example, when I am doing self-worth as your first impression, I have target segments. So I do for sales professionals with very little experience, like 2 years. I have some minimum 25 to 28 years. Then I have self-worth for homemakers, both the genders. Then I have self-worth for stagnant jobs, professionals, working professionals who are stagnant in their jobs, who feel there is nothing much now to share. So there are segmented audience, and according to it, when you are branding yourself, people will get aligned to your thoughts, to your work, to your deeds, and they want that help. So that is how you will reach out to particular people if you have a personal brand. Now, coming to the other question of how do you get this personal brand is, you have to check your self-image. Now, let me explain a little detail about this. Is it okay,
Yeah, very much.
Ashish?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are interested
So,
to know that.
yes, yeah. So self-image, when you talk about self is self-concept, self-image. It is a combination of your body image, physical body image, and your inner strengths. It is a combination. I don't say it is an addition or subtraction. It is a combination. So what happens, Gandhiji, exactly like how you have taken the example, let me start with him. So Gandhiji, if you look at his frame, body image, it is a very thin, fragile, old man, right? So in fact, nobody gives a thought at such person if you look from outside. Arey, ye kya karenge? You will feel like that.
Right.
But look at his inner strength. He has brought that freedom movement. He has brought that freedom to India. He has amassed so many people. He has brought that mindset change in so many people. So that is his inner strength. So that is his self-image, is a combination of his body image and his inner strengths. So this will lead to your self-esteem, which is very high or low, which will lead to self-confidence, which is actually your self-worth. I will again give another example. Like we have our Adnan Sami. There is one singer which whom we have been listening to, right?
Yes.
Pakistani singer.
Yeah.
Yes. So this example I generally give so that people can relate, because Adnan Sami was overweight. He was 120 plus kgs, right? So there the body image is not helping him. Body image is actually, he should actually go into a kind of depression because he's so fat and all, if he imagines to be. So body image is not supporting him. But you know what? Adnan Sami has that inner strength. He believes that his voice, he has a melodious voice, and he worked on that inner strength. And his songs were very famous even in that time.
Actually.
Right? So that self-image. Now you can understand his body image was not supportive, but his inner strengths were supportive.
Right.
Combination of this, he became very famous even before he has reduced his weight. Later on, he reduced to 75 kgs or something. So you can work on your inner strengths.
Yes.
You can as well work on body image. Now that gyms and all have come, that is another part. But on your inner strengths, you can work and make the best use and best impression of your self-worth. So that is an example.
Great, great. So you have given very real life and very recent examples about the self-worth and self-image. Yes, definitely. Gandhiji do not look very strong, but his ideas have.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he has strength and he has ability to connect to the masses. So really nice examples, ma'am. And about Adnan Sami, very recent example, and our younger generation can learn a lot from him. Like, do not focus on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths and your abilities, so you can do wonders. So I'm coming to the next curiosity that's coming in my mind. You have talked about personal branding, but we want to request you to please share some tools and some platforms which are helpful for anybody to build their personal brand and to improve their inner self and their self image. Can you please help us on that?
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Very rightly said, which is going to help a lot of people when they are listening to this is coming to personal brand. Before personal brand, you should know what your self-image is. So the tools is the recent one, which is more easily helpful to people is one is Ikegai book. If you are aware of, Ikigai is a Japanese technology of understanding yourself. Okay. So what I tell, if they read, fine. Even if they do not have the time to read, or even if they do not want to go ahead with that, I'll just suggest make a list of 5 things which you are good at. Okay. 5 things which you are good at, and then make a list of 5 things which you like, and then make a list of 5 things which the world wants, and make a list of 5 things which you can be paid. So out of these 4 categories, 5 each, then you can see overlapping, which is overlapping with what you are good at, what you like, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Okay. So when all these 4 are some overlapping things, that is your Ikigai. That is your self-image. That is what you like. Okay. So that is your inner strength. Now you harness that. This is one of the tools which they can operate on. They can do by themselves. And another point is you can make a visibility on the social media. Now that social media is picking up, so when you start branding yourself on the social media, in all the, we can take as Facebook profile, Facebook page, you can do FB lives. This is one part. And then Instagram you can come, and then you can come in LinkedIn. So 5. After LinkedIn, if you are good at writing skills, you can go for blogging. So all these social media elements, if they start using it, then their visibility will spread. Their approachability will be start, attracting people. They will become like magnets, and they will only get the quality audience. In the sense, they will only get the like-minded people who are interested in their products or service. And to become a personal brand, they need to follow 3 points. How to project your personal brands? First is they should have a personal brand statement. Now, what is this statement? What they stand for. You discover your inner strengths and make a statement, just 1-line statement. And then personal brand description. What is that description? You have to describe what you are good at and how you can help people. So that will be a 3-4 lines on small paragraph, personal brand description. And then last, personal brand story. Now, what is the story? There would be some trigger in everybody's life, some trigger where they have discovered themselves. Like how when I said inner strengths, you discover your inner strengths. So create that story. I don't say create in the sense not a fake story. Your life experiences, you put it in a story format, and that will become your personal brand story. If they follow these 3 elements, personal brand statement, personal brand description, and personal brand story, if they follow these 3 description and project themselves on the social media, definitely they will get the they will get the kind of audience whom they want. And this also helps in the youngsters, college going students, entrepreneurs, and they will become unique of their skills.
Wow, very insightful, ma'am. Ikegai, you told, it's very interesting. It's a simple practice. If somebody tries to do it within a day or 2, they can know the inner potential and they can start harnessing their strengths and proceed forward and build their reputation, build their brand, and tap the actual potential what they have. And what I will do is I will mention the link of the book in the description section. So if somebody is interested, they can
Yes.
go and buy that book and take benefit. And definitely, I'm going to buy this book today itself. So I get to learn more from this book. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
ma'am, you have shared very deep insights about the personal branding, self-image, creating first impression, and tapping the inner potential. So, but we have limited time, so we are not going in details. But
Yeah.
we request you to please share the courses you are providing. So, when if somebody is having the need or they need your support and help to know their self-worth and tap into their real potential and reach to the newer heights in their life. So how what courses you provide and how they can contact you?
Okay. So, Ashish, in fact, before the lockdown, I was conducting open workshops. So, when I was conducting open workshops, people used to come to the room and then we used to have an interaction where I would help them. I could help them. So, now after lockdown, what happened is the same people who were there with me, they started coming for consultancy and coaching, individual coaching. So, as of now, I am doing one-on-one coaching and I'm having consultancies. But during this lockdown period, what I started doing is the modules which I have been doing in the open workshops, I'm converting them into online workshops. So online workshops as well as online products. I'm still in the completion. I'll be just launching in another 1 month my online workshops depending on my signature work module. And another part is I am also writing a book with Vineet Gera sir as the publications. So and it's also getting to be published in this near future. So that also I will be giving. Apart from it, there is my link tree with all my social media links, which also has my mobile number. So anybody can get in touch with me with that, with respect to whatever their need is. So I can help them regarding that.
Perfect.
So
So it will,
that can help.
yeah, it will definitely help. So the audience, I request you to go into description box. I'm linking the link tree of Sreeveni ma'am, so you can connect to her on different platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook page, Facebook group, so that you can have access to
Yeah.
free content. And for the courses or your doubts, or if you need personalized help, you can contact her over WhatsApp and call, and it will help you a lot. And ma'am is also going to launch a book very soon with Vineet Gera sir. I have also got the book published to Vineet Gera sir. So in next upcoming session, we will also invite Vineet Gera sir. So he'll help you out with how to write a book and how to become a published author. And once ma'am's book is published, we will add the link of the book in the description box, so you can go and buy the book from Amazon and different platforms. So you can have access to all the knowledge and expertise what is ma'am is sharing with you, and you can reach to the newer heights in your life. So Sreeveni ma'am, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
It was
you.
really nice to interact with you, and I look forward for more such insightful sessions with you in future as well. This time we are publishing this on YouTube and maybe some sections of this on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. And down the line, we will plan another sessions and some another workshops together, so our audience can be benefited.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Sreeveni ma'am,
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
on the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So, dear audience, अभी हम लोग थे श्रीवेणी मैम के साथ, एंड श्रीवेणी मैम ने बहुत ही इंसाइटफुल इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे साथ शेयर की कि कैसे हम अपने रियल पोटेंशियल को जान के, अपने सेल्फ वर्थ को पहचान के, अपनी लाइफ में, अपने करियर में और अपने प्रोफेशन में और अपने बिजनेस में भी एक नए लेवल तक जा सकते हैं और अपने अर्निंग को मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हैं. सो आई होप ये एपिसोड आप लोगों को बहुत ही अच्छा लगा और बहुत ही काम की इंफॉर्मेशन और नॉलेज आपको मिली है और आप इसका बेनिफिट लेंगे, इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, और इसी तरह के और एपिसोड्स के लिए इस चैनल को आप सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिए और हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए. थैंक यू सो मच. जय हिंद.